Ladies and gentlemen, there is a silent force that turns seeds into forests, apprentices into masters, and dreams into reality. That force is patience, not the kind that sits idle and hopes for a miracle, but the kind that waits with unwavering faith while working tirelessly behind the scenes. The kind that walks into the storm and knows the sun will return. Every man or woman who ever built an empire started with nothing but belief, and the patience to see that belief through. The average mind gives up when things don't come fast enough. The disciplined mind knows that time is not the enemy. Time is the tool, and patience is how we use it. I have studied the habits of the most powerful men this world has known, and I tell you this, they did not rush success. They built it day by day, failure by failure, with patience as their foundation. When others quit, they persisted. When others demanded results overnight, they planted their vision deep and waited for the roots to take hold. Patience is not weakness, it is power under control. It is the ability to hold your desire in one hand and your discipline in the other, and walk forward anyway. When the world tests your resolve, patience is what keeps your feet moving, even if the road is long and the rewards seem far. The greatest enemy of progress is not failure, it is frustration. The man who gives up because it's taking too long will never know how close he was to breaking through. But the man who waits, works, believes. He sees what others never do. He achieves what others gave up on. You must understand, everything you want, wealth, wisdom, love, success, it all grows in the soil of patience. Rushing will only crush it. Doubting will only delay it. But steady hands and a mind anchored in faith will make anything possible. You do not need more talent. You need more patience. You do not need more luck. You need more endurance, because patience, my friends, changes everything. Patience is a form of inner strength that refines your character and sharpens your vision. It is not passive waiting. It is active resilience. It is the ability to stay grounded when everything around you urges you to rush, to quit, to surrender to pressure. When most people think of strength, they picture force, action, or control. But the deepest strength is silent. It does not shout or boast. It doesn't need recognition. It simply endures. Patience is the quiet confidence that refuses to panic in the face of delay. It is the invisible backbone of those who reach the highest levels of success. To develop patience is to master your emotions. It's the process of aligning your desires with your discipline. You must understand that anything of real value takes time. A mountain is not formed in a day, and neither is greatness. The impatient person seeks shortcuts, quick wins, instant recognition. But what comes fast falls faster. What comes through time, tested effort, shaped and refined by waiting and persistence, becomes unshakable. Patience teaches you to value the process, to embrace the grind, to find strength not in speed but in staying power. When a person is patient, they become dangerous to the forces of failure. Why? Because they are no longer moved by the ticking of the clock or the pressure of the crowd. They are governed by something far stronger, their purpose, and purpose knows no deadline. It moves steadily, silently, with complete faith in the outcome. The individual who possesses true patience is not distracted by the noise of the world or the doubt of others. Their eyes are fixed, their mind is clear, and their heart is committed. This kind of patience transforms a person. It builds grit. It builds maturity. It forges a deep self-respect that no outside force can disturb. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, patience becomes a form of rebellion. It is choosing to play the long game when everyone else wants a quick fix. It is refusing to settle for temporary satisfaction when something far greater is waiting on the other side of persistence. People often speak of vision, of having a dream, a goal, a purpose. But vision without patience is merely fantasy. The true test of vision is whether you are willing to endure the discomfort of delay, the silence of the in-between, and the temptation to give up. Patience is what turns vision into reality. Every trial, every setback, every moment that challenges your resolve is part of the refining process. These are the fires that mold your character. Without them, you would remain soft, fragile, and easily broken. But patience strengthens you through those fires. It teaches you to remain calm when others panic. It teaches you to listen when others react. It teaches you to wait with intention, not out of fear, but out of power. The patient mind does not fear delays. It understands that delays often mean something is being prepared, something better, something richer, something more aligned with the depth of your purpose. In every season of life, patience is the silent force that holds you together when everything else seems to be falling apart. It's the whisper that tells you to keep going when no one else is watching, when the results aren't showing, when doubt starts to creep in. The person who has cultivated patience will not fold under pressure. They will not betray their own vision just to satisfy the need for progress. They know that progress is not always visible. Sometimes progress is simply not quitting. Sometimes it is continuing with faith when there is no evidence. That is the strength of patience. The truly patient individual understands that timing is a part of intelligence. They don't push before the moment is right. They don't chase outcomes, they prepare for them. They know that the waiting period is not wasted time, but preparation time. This internal stillness, this disciplined restraint, is not born out of weakness. It is born out of mastery. Those who are quick to anger, quick to doubt, quick to quit, these are the ones who lack control. But those who wait with quiet fire and calculated persistence, they are the ones who rise above the rest. Patience is the builder of empires and the protector of dreams. It is the thing that keeps a person working on their craft when no one is clapping. It is the force that allows you to endure long nights, failed attempts, and repeated rejection, because you know what you're working toward is worth it. The patient mind is not shaken by what seems like failure, because it sees through the eyes of growth. What the world calls delay, the patient person calls development. What the world calls stagnation, the patient person calls strategy. It is all a matter of perspective, and patience sharpens that perspective until it becomes unbreakable. True patience is not about waiting forever. It's about waiting wisely. It's about knowing what to hold on to and what to release. It's about understanding that most people give up not because they lack talent, but because they lack the endurance to hold their focus over time. A patient person learns to trust themselves. They understand that growth is happening even when results are not visible. They recognize that rest is not quitting, that reflection is not weakness, and that sometimes stepping back is the most powerful move you can make. When you develop this kind of patience, you begin to see things others can't. You notice opportunities others miss because they are in too much of a hurry. You sense shifts in direction, feel new ideas forming, and move with clarity instead of confusion. The patient person isn't stuck. They are simply rooted, and when the time is right, they rise with force that was built slowly, silently, but powerfully. So when the world tries to shake you, when the results don't show up fast enough, when people around you say it's taking too long, remember this: patience is not about waiting. It is about enduring with power. It is not passive, it is strategic. It does not delay progress, it guarantees it, because only those who can wait with purpose are strong enough to receive what they're truly meant for. Success is not the product of frantic effort or emotional urgency. It does not reward those who sprint blindly toward their goals, hoping for instant results. It comes inevitably and surely to those who wait with purpose, who move with precision, who understand that the right direction is more important than rapid movement. The individual who rushes with panic often mistakes activity for progress, motion for meaning, noise for achievement. But true success is never fooled. It is not moved by chaos. It responds only to calm, deliberate, focused energy, the kind of energy that only purposeful waiting can produce. The road to success is filled with delays, detours, and disappointments. Panic sees these as threats. Purpose sees them as part of the journey. When you rush with panic, you react. You make decisions from fear, from insecurity, from desperation. You start grabbing at anything that looks like progress, even if it pulls you away from your real mission. But when you wait with purpose, you don't chase shadows. You don't move just to feel like you're doing something. You move because it's time. You act because it's right. You wait not because you're weak, but because your vision is too valuable to compromise with haste. There is a difference between motion and momentum. Panic creates motion. It keeps you busy, distracted, always doing but never becoming. Purpose creates momentum, a focused, powerful drive that builds over time even if it starts slowly. The most successful people in any field, business, art, science, leadership, did not get there by rushing. They got there by aligning their energy with their vision. They knew that purpose must lead and time must follow. They waited not because they lacked ambition, but because they respected the process. To wait with purpose is to have a calm mind in a noisy world. It is to trust your path even when others are racing ahead on theirs. It is to understand that speed means nothing if you're headed in the wrong direction. Panic is the enemy of clarity. It clouds judgment, it distorts priorities, and it drains energy. When panic leads, decisions are made from the survival instinct, not from strategy, and survival decisions often come at the cost of long-term success. The purposeful mind is clear. It does not need to rush because it is not threatened by time. It sees delay as development. It sees every quiet moment as preparation. It understands that foundation must come before elevation. A skyscraper does not begin with height. It begins with depth, and the deeper the foundation, the higher the rise. Those who wait with purpose are building something that will last. They are digging deep, so that when the time comes, they can rise without fear of collapse. Success is not a race, it is a creation. It must be built brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action, and nothing weakens the structure like panic. Rushed decisions, half-built plans, desperate shortcuts, these things crumble under pressure. Purpose, on the other hand, is the architect of greatness. It ensures that every step is intentional, that every delay is part of the blueprint, that every sacrifice is made with a reason. When you wait with purpose, you're not just passing time, you're shaping destiny. The ones who rush with panic often burn out before they even get close to the finish line. Their energy is scattered, their emotions are unstable. One failure shakes them, one delay breaks them, one rejection sends them off course. But the one who waits with purpose is unshakable. They understand that failure is a tool, that delay is a test, that rejection is redirection. They don't allow external events to determine their internal state. Their patience is not passive. It is anchored in faith and driven by vision. To wait with purpose means you are preparing even when nothing is happening. You are sharpening your skills, studying your craft, refining your message. You are not idle, you are investing. While others are rushing and scrambling, you are building strength, gaining insight, and preserving your energy for the right moment. And when that moment comes, you will be ready, not anxious, not uncertain, but prepared. The world often rewards those who appear to be busy, but success does not reward appearances. It rewards endurance, discipline, and clarity. Those who wait with purpose may go unnoticed for a time. They may be overlooked, doubted, or even mocked. But in the end, they are the ones who outlast the noise. They are the ones who build something meaningful, something lasting, because they did not spend their energy reacting. They spent it creating. There is a reason why those who operate from a place of panic rarely maintain success, even if they get a taste of it. Their foundations are weak and their focus is fractured. Panic may bring temporary movement, but it cannot sustain growth. Growth requires consistency, it requires self-control, it requires a steady hand and a calm heart, and all of this is made possible by purpose, driven patience. Do not let the pressure of the world rush you out of alignment with your purpose. Do not allow the noise of competition to shake your commitment to your vision. The people who truly win in life are not the ones who got there fastest. They are the ones who never lost sight of why they started. They waited not in fear, but in faith. They moved not in panic, but in power. They rose not because they rushed, but because they were ready. Success does not respond to urgency, it responds to mastery. And mastery is born from repetition, reflection, and resilience, all of which require time. So when you find yourself tempted to move just to feel progress, ask yourself, is this panic or purpose? If it's panic, pause. If it's purpose, proceed, because the path to real success, unshakable, meaningful, lasting success, belongs only to those who wait with purpose, not those who rush with panic. Every towering achievement the world has ever witnessed, every invention, every empire, every masterpiece, was not the product of a single act of brilliance or a moment of luck. It was built through relentless, persistent effort and an unwavering belief held with patience. This principle is universal. It applies to the scientist in his lab, the builder on his scaffold, the entrepreneur facing rejection after rejection, and the individual who refuses to quit despite how long the journey takes. Greatness does not fall into the lap of those who simply wish for it. It responds only to those who work for it, those who are willing to press forward when things get hard, when the results are slow, and when the world doubts their dream. Persistent effort is not glamorous. It is often unseen, uncelebrated, and misunderstood. It looks like long nights, hard questions, and delayed rewards. It demands discipline, repetition, and the kind of mental toughness that does not break in the face of setbacks. But effort alone is not enough. Without belief, effort loses its meaning. Without the inner conviction that your work will matter, that your vision will come to life, you will abandon it before it ever grows strong. That is why patient belief is the companion to persistent effort. You must believe not only in the outcome but in the process. You must trust that every step is shaping you, strengthening you, and moving you closer, even when it doesn't look like it. There will be times when your work feels pointless, times when the world moves faster than you, and you question if you're falling behind. But patient belief reminds you that every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the larger picture. It keeps you steady when you are tempted to compare, to rush, or to quit. It's not about blind faith, it's about rooted faith, a belief grounded in the knowledge that success takes time and that anything worth building demands your full effort over time. Persistent effort means doing the work even when no one is watching, even when no one is applauding. It means practicing your craft when you're tired, reviewing your plan when you feel lost, and staying focused when distractions call your name. Most people give up not because they lack talent, but because they lack consistency. They want fast results, instant impact, and overnight glory. But greatness doesn't work that way. It unfolds in layers. It rewards those who endure, who repeat, who refine. Patient belief is not about waiting passively. It is about holding your vision without frustration. It is the quiet confidence that even if the journey is long, it will be worth it. It is understanding that the universe does not move on your schedule, it moves when preparation meets readiness. Some doors don't open just because you knock. They open because you keep knocking, day after day, month after month, with faith that the door is meant for you. History is filled with stories of people who kept going long after others would have stopped. The writer whose manuscript was rejected 100 times. The inventor who failed thousands of times before one breakthrough changed the world. The leader who stood alone in the storm, believing in a vision no one else could see. These achievements were not accidents. They were the result of persistence, and they were sustained by belief, patient belief. It is easy to believe when results are visible, when progress is obvious, and when the world is cheering you on. But what defines your success is whether you can still believe when you have nothing but the effort, when the applause is silent and the results are still on the horizon. That is where character is formed. That is where winners are made. Persistent effort teaches you discipline. It refines your thinking. It strips away the unnecessary and sharpens your focus. Over time, it becomes a habit. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on your standards. You no longer wait for the perfect conditions. You create them through your consistency. It is this repeated effort, compounded over time, that leads to mastery. And mastery is what sets the extraordinary apart from the average. Patient belief teaches you trust, trust in your process, trust in the timing of your journey, trust that what you're building will have value, even if no one sees it now. With belief, you carry your dream like a seed. You water it, you protect it, and you let time do its work. You don't dig it up every week to check if it's growing. You know that if you keep showing up, the results will show up too. Every day you persist, you're training your mind for resilience. You're building the kind of toughness that doesn't flinch when life tests you. You begin to realize that effort is not something you give occasionally. It becomes who you are. You are no longer someone who hopes for success. You are someone who creates it through work, through repetition, through belief that does not waver when the journey gets long. And this kind of belief does not make you arrogant. It makes you grounded. You are not entitled to results, but you are committed to the work. You understand that achievement is not owed to you. It is earned through sweat, sacrifice, and the refusal to surrender. And with every effort you give, with every belief you choose to hold, you are earning it. Slowly, powerfully, permanently, great achievement doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. You will make mistakes. You will feel discouraged. You will fail. But failure is not the enemy, giving up is. And the only way to avoid giving up is to pair your effort with patient belief, to hold your vision like a compass, guiding you through storms and silence, to keep your feet moving one step at a time with the confidence that you are being shaped for something bigger. This is how all great things are built, not with speed but with endurance, not with luck but with labor, not with panic but with purpose. Persistent effort and patient belief are the twin pillars of achievement. They are what carry you forward when nothing else can. They are what turn ordinary people into legends. Defeat is a part of life, a reality no one can escape. But what separates those who succeed from those who fail is not whether they encounter defeat, but how they respond to it. Patience is the bridge between defeat and victory. It is the power that transforms what seems like failure into the foundation for ultimate success. Without patience, defeat becomes final. With patience, defeat becomes temporary, a stepping stone, a lesson, a necessary pause before the breakthrough. When faced with a setback, the impatient mind sees an end point. It sees failure as proof that the dream was a mistake or that the effort was wasted. Panic sets in, doubt grows, the desire to quit becomes overwhelming. But the patient mind views defeat differently. It knows that temporary losses are part of the process. It understands that the journey toward any worthy goal is never smooth or straight. Patience allows you to step back, reflect, and find the lessons hidden in your defeat rather than being crushed by it. Many of the greatest successes in history were born from defeat. The entrepreneur whose first business failed but who learned from that experience to build an empire. The athlete who lost a crucial game but trained harder and came back stronger. The artist whose early works were rejected but who refined their craft until the world took notice. In every case, patience was the difference. Patience kept them going when quitting would have been easier. Patience helped them see that defeat was not the end, but a moment in a much larger story. Patience also prevents the rush to react impulsively to defeat. When frustration takes hold, people often make hasty decisions, abandoning goals, changing direction without thought, or giving up entirely. These impulsive moves rarely solve the problem. Instead, they often create new setbacks. The patient person resists this urge. They allow themselves time to heal, to process, and to strategize. This calm, measured response is what turns temporary defeat into long-term victory. Victory is not always immediate. Sometimes it is delayed by obstacles beyond your control. Sometimes it requires rebuilding, recalibrating, or simply enduring a season of hardship. Patience gives you the strength to stay committed during these times. It allows you to believe in your vision even when circumstances seem to contradict it. This belief, held patiently, fuels the persistence necessary to keep pushing forward. Consider the nature of growth itself. A seed buried underground must face darkness and resistance before it can break through the soil and reach the light. That process takes time, and it cannot be rushed. If the seed tried to force its way prematurely, it would be damaged or destroyed. The same is true of your progress. Defeat may feel like darkness, but it is also preparation. Patience is the nurturing force that allows you to emerge stronger on the other side. Patience also strengthens your character. It teaches humility, resilience, and self-control. When you learn to endure defeat without losing hope, you develop a mental toughness that cannot be shaken by future challenges. You become someone who is no longer defined by setbacks, but by the ability to rise above them. This inner strength is what leads to lasting success, because success is not just about reaching a goal, it's about becoming the kind of person who can sustain it. The temporary nature of defeat means that it holds no power over you unless you give it power. Impatience magnifies defeat, turning a single loss into a spiral of despair. Patience diminishes its weight, placing it within the larger context of your journey. It helps you remember that no setback is permanent, and no failure is final unless you allow it to be. This mindset shift is critical. It allows you to maintain hope and motivation when others give up. Long-term victory requires endurance, both physical and mental. It requires the ability to keep showing up, keep trying, and keep believing even when the odds seem stacked against you. Patience provides the endurance. It is the quiet energy that keeps you moving forward step by step, day by day. It is the calm in the storm, the steady hand when everything else is shaking. Without patience, endurance fades. Without endurance, victory slips away. Every defeat carries a lesson. Patience opens your eyes to those lessons instead of blinding you with frustration. It teaches you to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? What adjustments do I need to make? This reflective attitude turns defeat from an obstacle into an opportunity. It allows you to grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. Patience also gives you the clarity to recognize the right time to act again. When emotions run high, decisions are clouded. Patience brings perspective. It helps you wait until you have the right plan, the right mindset, and the right resources to move forward effectively. This strategic waiting is not inactivity, it is preparation. It is setting the stage for a victory that is not just quick, but lasting. Remember, the greatest victories often come after the longest struggles. The person who endures defeat with patience gains a perspective that those who achieve easy wins never develop. They learn that success is a journey, not a destination. They understand that each setback is a chapter in their story, not the final page. This understanding changes how they face challenges, how they work toward goals, and ultimately, how they win. Patience turns temporary defeat into long-term victory by shifting your mindset, strengthening your character, and guiding your actions. It teaches you to endure without giving up, to learn instead of quitting, and to wait wisely rather than rushing blindly. When you develop patience, you transform defeat from a wall into a door that opens to new possibilities, new strengths, and new achievements. With patience as your ally, no defeat is permanent. Every setback is simply a setup for a greater comeback. This truth is the secret to enduring success. It is the reason why those who persevere patiently through defeat ultimately rise to heights that others never reach. Because patience is not just about waiting. It is about transforming the very nature of your journey and turning every challenge into a victory that lasts. In the journey towards success, obstacles are inevitable. No path to greatness is free from challenges, setbacks, or moments of difficulty. What determines whether a person reaches their goals is not the absence of obstacles, but the presence of resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep moving forward despite difficulty. And resilience, above all, is cultivated through patience. Patience is not simply waiting without complaint. It is an active, powerful force that strengthens your capacity to endure hardship. When you develop patience, you are training your mind and spirit to withstand pressure, to hold steady when circumstances test your limits. This steady endurance is what resilience is made of. Without patience, resilience is fragile and fleeting. With patience, resilience becomes a foundation. a deep well of strength that carries you through the toughest times. Obstacles come in many forms: failure, rejection, criticism, delays, loss, and uncertainty. Each one challenges your confidence and your commitment. The impatient person reacts to these obstacles with frustration, anger, or defeat. They may give up, change course impulsively, or lose faith in their vision. But the patient person approaches obstacles differently. They see each one as an opportunity to grow stronger, to learn, and to prove their dedication. This mindset, rooted in patience, is what builds resilience. Resilience is not something you are born with, it is something you build over time. Every time you face a challenge and choose patience over panic, you are adding to your resilience. You are training yourself to endure setbacks without breaking. You develop the mental toughness to withstand pressure without giving up. This cumulative process creates a deep inner strength that no external force can easily shake. When you cultivate patience, you also cultivate perspective. You begin to understand that obstacles are temporary and often necessary. They are the tests that measure your resolve and prepare you for greater success. This understanding helps you maintain emotional balance in difficult moments. Instead of becoming overwhelmed or discouraged, you remain calm and focused. This calm is the heart of resilience. It allows you to think clearly, make better decisions, and keep moving forward. Patience also encourages strategic thinking. When you face an obstacle, the immediate reaction might be to react impulsively. Rush decisions, try quick fixes, or abandon your plan. But patience slows you down. It gives you time to assess the situation, to consider your options carefully, and to develop a thoughtful response. This thoughtful approach increases your chances of overcoming the obstacle effectively and learning from it for future challenges. Resilience shaped by patience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Each obstacle you face and endure patiently adds to your capacity to handle the next one. Over time, you build a reservoir of strength that carries you through long seasons of difficulty without losing hope or giving up. This resilience is not passive endurance. It is active strength. It fuels your persistence and sustains your motivation. Patience also helps you manage your emotions during difficult times. When obstacles arise, it is natural to feel frustration, fear, or doubt. But patience teaches you to observe these feelings without being controlled by them. It allows you to accept the situation as it is, rather than how you wish it would be. This acceptance reduces emotional turmoil and gives you the clarity to respond with resilience rather than react with despair. In the broader picture, resilience built through patience shapes your character. It builds qualities such as humility, perseverance, courage, and wisdom. These qualities are essential for long-term success. They help you navigate the complexities of life and business with grace and strength. They make you someone others can rely on and respect, not just for your achievements, but for how you handle adversity. It is important to remember that cultivating patience is not about passivity or resignation. It is not about waiting for things to happen without effort. Instead, it is about maintaining a steady commitment to your goals while enduring the inevitable setbacks along the way. This steady commitment is the heart of resilience. It means showing up day after day, putting in the work, and holding your vision even when the path is difficult. The obstacle itself does not define you. Your response to it does. Patience gives you the power to choose your response, to meet challenges with resilience instead of retreat. This power transforms obstacles from roadblocks into stepping stones. It allows you to grow through difficulty, to become stronger because of struggle, and to keep advancing despite hardship. Ultimately, patience and resilience together create a cycle of strength. Patience allows you to endure obstacles, and resilience grows from that endurance. As your resilience grows, you are better equipped to face future challenges with patience and confidence. This cycle creates a positive feedback loop that propels you forward in your journey. No one achieves greatness without encountering obstacles. But those who cultivate patience and resilience are the ones who overcome them. They do not let setbacks stop them. They use patience to endure, resilience to recover, and determination to continue. This combination is the secret to overcoming obstacles and achieving lasting success. By embracing patience, you cultivate resilience. By cultivating resilience, you become unstoppable. This is the essence of overcoming obstacles. It is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about meeting it with strength, endurance, and unwavering commitment. And this is the power that patience brings to every great journey.